Hi, my name is Robert. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. I wanted to make a part 2 of the new ownership video for having P80 Volvos. As you can see from my t-shirt, I think that some of these things on these Volvos was actually built broke. Basically what that means is that sooner or later you're going to have to fix certain things. It was built broke. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. So in this video I'm going to walk you through a few things that you might want to check, take care of to make your vehicle more reliable, more dependable, and more of a pleasure to drive. Let's get started. Now, in the event that you haven't already seen part 1 of this ownership, look in the comments. There's a link below and it'll take you to the urgent things you need to check. Now, other than those 5 or 6 urgent things, these are the things that you want to know about the vehicle, you want to check out, and you want to take care of to bring the vehicle to what they may call a stage 0 condition for the car. That'll make it run probably as good as any newer car. First thing you need to know, if you have a vehicle, an 850, that has a mechanical odometer, 9 out of 10 of those are inaccurate, and you have no way of telling how many miles that vehicle actually has on it. Not that that matters, it's just a point of information you should know. Now, if the car is a 93, a 94, or a 95, and the instrument cluster has never been replaced, there is a set of diagnostic boxes under the hood that you can take and read out the mileage that is stored in the cluster. That's just for your information. If your odometer is not working, you can look in the comments below, follow the link to tell you how to, 1, check the mileage in the cluster, and number 2, how to fix the odometer so that it counts miles. One thing about it, if you can't count the miles that you're traveling, how will you know how often to do routine maintenance? Like change the oil, change the air filter, change the timing belt, and things like that. So if you have a vehicle, the odometer doesn't work, mainly these Volvo 850s, get that fixed so that you can put your vehicle on some kind of maintenance schedule. Another thing you should know, if you're having issues getting your key out, that is normally related to the automatic transmission. It has a button under here. When that button gets old, worn, and likely broken, it gets stuck. Until you pull this button out while it's in park, you cannot get that key out. So there's a video in the comments to tell you how to repair that situation. If you have radio issues, your radio's locked out, it's asking for a code, it's an old radio, doesn't have a CD player, look in the comments below. There's a link that shows you how to unlock the radio, and if it's not working to your satisfaction, how to replace it with a newer one. Very easy to do, simple instructions. Go ahead and take care of that. A common issue with the S and V70 vehicles, your window switches are located here instead of down here. If you have a window that doesn't go up and down, more than likely the switch control unit here is defective. There's a video link below to tell you how to try to troubleshoot that and try to fix it, but it's just as easy to order a new switch pack from eBay for under $40. Replace that, be done with your Windows issues. These vehicles very seldom have window motor or window regulator issues unless somebody has really fooled with them. Easy fix, link in the comment section below. Another somewhat common issue with a vehicle that is 20 years old, has a lot of miles on it, if the fuel pump has not been replaced and you don't have record of it, you may want to consider having that done if you're having slow start issues and performance issues, sometimes the fuel pump is getting weak and it'll cause the vehicle not to function properly and lack performance. Another thing you want to know, you can do that very easily with the vehicles that are not all-wheel drive. If the vehicle's all-wheel drive, it's more complicated. Another thing about the fuel system, it is a common issue for these cars to have random stalling issues. Car starts right back up, runs, and has erratic problems with stalling out. That is normally related to a bad fuel pump relay. Let me show you where that relay is. We got to pop the hood. Pull that red handle. You come out here. You pop the hood. The 850s has a little tab you pull out. The S and V70s have a latch you squeeze. You get the hood open. You come over here. This is your fuse box. You have 4 screws to remove the fuse box cover. And you have this seal to move out of the way. You pull this cover off and you will find a red relay under that cover. It'll have a 103 stenciled on it. And if you pull that relay out, it'll more than likely have a date stamp on it. If that date stamp is older than 10 years old, you probably want to go ahead and replace that fuel pump relay, whether you're having a problem or not. That kind of issue is just not worth having, and it's a common problem with the vehicle. Go ahead, pull those 4 screws, pull out that relay, check the date on it, and replace that relay if it's older than 10 years old. Now, I must say this about these vehicles and the fact that they're European vehicles. These cars do not like aftermarket electronic and electrical parts. So, do your best to buy parts from reputable part suppliers that supply parts for Volvo. It's not a good idea to put a relay in this car that you get from your local walk-in auto parts store. Try to get your sensors and electrical parts from places that sells parts specifically for these cars, like the dealer, or a place that is enthusiast for these cars, Swedish Car Parts, IPD, FCP Euro, places like that. If you don't, you're likely going to still have issues with the car functioning properly. Don't even start that issue. Next, there's a common issue with engine mounts. If you come over here, you see this mount here. I have the wrong hardware on there, but that mount is often likely torn out. I actually manufactured a special press to help you easily get that in and out. There are other mounts that you can buy to replace that torn mount. You do want to replace that mount if you can. There's also another mount down under the engine this way that you have to see through going in behind the wheel. There's a little splash panel there. You pull that back, you check that mount. Again, there's a video linked in the comments to help you check these mounts, give you step-by-step instructions. But if you look down here and you can't put 3 fingers in between this engine and this bottle, that mount on the front of this engine is likely worn out. It's not a big deal to replace. It's not an expensive mount, but you may want to get the engine mounts fixed. It makes the car ride and feel smoother. Another thing that I would recommend you do as a vehicle owner is make sure that your service bottles are clear and you're able to see through them. As you can see, I have a Volvo bottle here. You can clearly see the level of the coolant. If you got a bottle that is foggy, you can't see the fluid in it, or if you look at the bottle close and it has cracks, spider web cracks in the bottle, you want to get a good quality bottle. I wouldn't buy anything but a Volvo bottle. The last time I bought one that wasn't a Volvo bottle, I actually gave it away. They just don't work good. Also, look real close on these caps. These caps develop cracks on them, and if your cap has any minor cracks around there, likely from being screwed on too tight, or tiny little cracks coming from the middle, you want to replace this cap. I prefer the green caps. That way you don't have any false coolant issues that would make you think you have a problem with the head gasket. A good thing about these vehicles is that the coolant reservoir has a level sensor in there. In the bottom of the bottle, there's an electrical sensor. When that coolant level in that bottle gets low, it'll throw a red light inside the dash cluster to let you know that you have low coolant. It'll be a square looking bottle thing with a little fan on it. Let me show you how that looks. That little indicator there is low coolant. If you're ever driving this vehicle and any one of the red lights light up while you're driving, it's best to turn the key off and pull the car over. A tow is cheaper than an accident or a blown engine. One light is this red light there. The light above it is the low oil pressure light. You do not want to see either one of those lights lit while you're driving. Shut the car off, get the car towed somewhere, get it troubleshot. Another common thing with the cars that'll make it less comfortable to drive is if your shocks or struts are worn out and these spring seats are torn up. Mine are in good shape. It is normal for that to have space under it, but if you can look under there, down in there, you'll see a piece of rubber. It should not have any cracks or tears in it. Also, if you grab this thing, it should not do anything more than wiggle. If you could turn that thing or put a wrench on that and turn that around clockwise, that spring seat mount is torn and you might want to get that replaced sooner rather than later. It's just makes the car less comfortable to drive, makes it a little noisy when it's hitting bumps and stuff like that. You should also know that when the struts and shocks are bad on this car, the car really doesn't get bouncy. It gets a little firmer. So if every little bump you hit feels like you're hitting the curb, you probably need new struts for the vehicle. More than half of these vehicles are turbo. They have a turbocharger. You can tell that by this pipe here or a pipe coming over the engine. When a car is turbo, it's more prone to burn oil. I recommend you use full synthetic oil. It protects the turbo. Look at the link in the comments that tells you how to take care of a car with a turbo. And you want to check your oil weekly until you get a grip on how much oil that car is using. Once you figure out how much it's using, checking it monthly will likely do. But most of these cars will use a quart of oil every 1,500 miles. If it has a fresher cylinder head, it may go 3,000 or 4,000 miles in between burning off a quart of oil. You don't want to run these cars low on oil. It will likely damage the engine. You don't need that. One thing that you really should know is that these cars, over the years, the battery cable gets old and worn out, and it doesn't carry the battery current as well as it should to the starter. I've had more than one occasion where I had a vehicle that failed to start. It wouldn't even crank, and it was simply because the battery cable from the battery down to the starter was bad. How you can check that? You can get a ohm meter, put a tiny hole in the cable at least 3 or 4 inches from the connector, and put the other end of it on top of the battery and read the ohms or the resistance in that cable. If the resistance is higher than 3, that cable more than likely needs to be replaced. And again, it can start and cause a no start issue, a no crank issue. Also, you have secondary cables that come off of the battery. You can see here, I got 3 or 4 cables that come off the battery. Those cables go straight to the fuse box. If you get corrosion built up in those, or any of those cables get damaged or become defective, that can also stop your car from starting and functioning properly. You do want to make sure that those connections are clean and are in good shape, so you don't have a no start issue out of the blue. Another thing that you want to do is check and service the transmission. A lot of mechanics don't advise it. The manufacturer don't advise it. However, it does not have a lifetime warranty on it. So the dipstick is down there for it. Look at the link, properly check it, service it. I have known of people that had these hardy transmissions last in excess of 500,000 miles. So they're excellent transmissions. They can last the life of the car, but you do need to service and maintain them. Another common issue is for your parking brake system to not hold the car when parked. You can test that by pulling a handle in the center console, putting the car in neutral, and see if the car will roll. You can also jack up the car, try to turn the wheels with the parking brake set. If that is a problem, you may want to get that fixed so that you can have an emergency parking assist braking system. It is a very common problem on these cars, and you want to get it fixed as soon as you can. Not nothing urgent, but that is something that you want to fix when you can. One of the final things I will say unique to the vehicle is the headlights go bad in these vehicles. If you look behind the glass, there is a reflective piece behind the glass. Whenever that reflective piece somehow builds up dirt or somehow wears down, it will fail to project the light from the assembly out to the road, and you will find it difficult to drive at night because the headlights will be very dim. You can't take it apart and clean it. You really need to replace that piece behind the lens, or just simply get new light assemblies. Be aware of that and get those replaced or somehow fixed so that you can have good vision at night. That's basically all I have for now. Doing the things in the part 1 video and in this video will help you have a good, reliable vehicle. I do not hesitate to drive any of my cars across the country. I'll check the tire pressure, fill it up with gas, and take off right now if I had to. So don't forget, these are good, reliable cars. You can put normally up to about 500,000 miles on them if they've been well cared for. And that is all I have for now. If you know of something else that is a very common issue that people need to pay attention to, feel free to make a comment below, and if need be, I'll edit the video. But that's all I can think of that would be a distraction or make you discouraged from feeling like you got a great car. Thanks for watching. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.